Cortana, all I need to know is did we lose them?
I think we both know the answer to that.
We made a blind jump. How did they...
Get here first? The Covenant ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way from Reach, at light speed my maneuvering options were limited.
We were running dark, yes?
Until we decelerated, no one could have missed the hole we tore in subspace. They were waiting for us on the far side of the planet.
So, where do we stand?
Our fighters are mopping up the last of their recon picket now, nothing serious. But I've isolated approach signatures for multiple CCS-class battle groups. Make it 3 capital ships per group. And in about 90 seconds, they'll be all over us.
Well, that's it then. Bring the ship back up to Combat Alert Alpha. I want everyone at their station.
Everyone, sir?
Everyone. And Cortana.
Hmm?
Let's give our old friends a warm welcome.
I've already begun.
Attention, all combat personnel. Please report to your action stations. This platoon, secure airlocks on deck 11. 14th platoon rendezvous with 22nd Tactical at Bulkhead Charlie 14.
You heard the lady. Move like you got a purpose.
This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
Men, keep your eyes downrange, fingers on your triggers, and we all go home in one piece. Am I right, Marines? Sir, yes, sir! Damn right I am. Now move it out. Double time.
Attention all personnel. We are re-engaging the enemy. External and internal contact imminent.
All you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close, this is gonna be your lucky day.
Whoa. Sir? Right. Let's thaw him out. Okay. Bringing low-level systems online. Cracking the case in 30 seconds. He's hot! Blowing the pins in 5!
This tube shows green. Cycle complete.
Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Things are a little hectic right now. The disorientation should pass quickly.
Welcome back, sir. We'll have you battle-ready stat.
Chief, please look around the room. I need to get a calibration reading for your battlesuit's diagnostics. Good. Thank you, sir.
I'm bringing your health monitors online, sir.
Vital signs look normal. No freezer burn. Okay, sir. Go ahead and climb out of the cryo tube. I gave you a double dose of the wake-up stim. Take a quick walk around the cryo bay and join me at the optical diagnostic station when you're ready. Stand on the red square, please. I know the ordnance techs usually take care of your targeting sensors, but we're short of time, Chief. Just look at each of the flashing panels to target them. When you lock on, it'll change color. Okay, that looks good.
Sir, I'm getting some calibration errors. I'm going to invert your looking pitch, so you can see if you like it better that way. Try targeting the flashing lights again. Is that better, or should I switch it back? Okay, try looking up and down again, please. Do you want me to leave it like that, or switch it again? Okay, I'll leave the pitch normal, but if you want, you can change it yourself later. I'm ready for the energy shield test now.
Please follow me to the energy shield test station.
Fire teams, report to defensive positions Alpha through Sierra. Sensors show inbound Covenant boarding craft. Stand by to repel boarders.
Okay, bring his energy shields online, please.
All right, shields read as fully charged.
Okay, sir. Bring them down to test the automatic recharge.
Recharging normally. We're showing green across the board.
Bridge to Cryo 2, this is Captain Keyes. Send the Master Chief to the bridge immediately.
Captain, we'll have to skip the weapons diagnostics and
On the double, crewman.
Aye, aye, sir. The skipper seems jumpy. We'd better get moving. We'll find you weapons later.
Okay, I'll leave the self-diagnostics running at least.
Good idea. You'd better get to your evac group, Sam.
Affirmative. I just have to reset the computer and I'm out of here. Oh God, they're trying to get through the door. Security! Intruders in Cryo 2! Please, Johnny!
Sam! Sam! Come on, we've got to get the hell out of here.
Alert,
This way.
all hands. Boarding parties on port decks 4, 7, and 12. Baker team,
Hello everyone and welcome to my playthrough of the Halo 1 Anniversary Edition. So as we were moving through the cryo bay there, we picked up the Iron Skull, and that basically means if you enable that, then death in single player will restart the level, and death in co-op mode will take you back to the last checkpoint. Now, as I said previously, right, I'm going to be doing, I did the original, and now we're doing the Anniversary Edition. A version which I'm not super duper fond of, which I'll explain more for other reasons. But I'm going to try and get all the skulls and the terminals in this playthrough. I should also note that I'm playing it on easy difficulty, mostly so I could just get through the game itself. I don't want to, bother dying a whole bunch of times and keep, having to play the same thing over and over. So no, I'm not going to play through the game on Legendary or anything like that. Anyway, once we get up to the bridge, there will be a terminal, but I'll get that after the main cutscene, after we meet Captain Keyes. And they feature cutscenes that were made by the Sequence Group with dialogue written by Kevin Grace, who was one of the managing editors at 343 Industries. And the idea of the terminals is to give some backstory on the Halo universe, and all but one are actually from the perspective of 343 Guilty Spark. Anyway, let's talk with Keyes.
Captain Keyes.
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best, but we never really had a chance.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3, make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me.
Report!
It must have been one of their boarding parties. I'd guess an antimatter charge.
Ma'am! Fire control for the main cannon is offline!
Captain, the cannon was my last offensive option.
All right, then. I'm initiating Cole Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
In a manner of speaking. The object we found, I'm gonna try and land the Autumn on it.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
I appreciate your concern, Cortana, but it's not up to me. The protocol is clear. Destruction or capture of a shipboard AI is absolutely unacceptable, and that means you're leaving ship. Lock in a selection of emergency landing zones, upload them to my neural lace, and then sort yourself for a heart transfer.
Aye, aye, sir.
Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy. If they capture her, they'll learn everything. Force deployment, weapons research, Earth.
I understand.
The Autumn will continue evasive maneuvers until you initiate a landing sequence. Not that you'll listen, but I'd suggest letting my subroutines handle the final approach.
Excellent work, Cortana. Thank you. Are you ready?
Yank me.
Good luck, Master Chief.
Your architecture isn't much different from the Autumn's.
Don't get any funny ideas.
I don't keep it loaded, son. You'll have to find ammo as you go.
Warning! By order of Ecumen Council, proximity to Installation 04 is forbidden. Your continued presence will result in most unpleasant countermeasures. I must insist that you immediately change course and return to a minimum safe distance of 1 light year. This has served as your one and final warning. I have activated defensive systems, and you now have 30 seconds to return to the minimum safe distance of... Wait. Curious. Curious indeed, after all these years. Greetings, humans, and welcome to Installation 04. Ignore prior warnings, and please continue. I have disabled defensive systems to allow your approach, but you must not exit your ship once you have arrived at the designated landing center. This fleet contains significant dangers, and even with your assumed legacy, I must verify the presence and pitch of your gauge before allowing full access. We have much to discuss, humans. I have been away far too long. You have been away far too long.
Okay, that was the first terminal. Now, here's the problem with a lot of the terminals, or with the terminals themselves. They contain references and clues to the backstory, and these references and clues are fairly cryptic, and they tie into the story of later Halo games and novels, mostly to Halo 4 and the Forerunner Saga trilogy of novels written by Greg Bear. Hence, they are somewhat tangentially related to the story of Halo 1 itself. And I'm just reading the new bulletin board here. They've updated it.
We need to get going, Chief. We need to get off the ship.
Now, I'm debating how much I want to talk about regarding the terminal stories, because they give away massive spoilers, and I don't think they occur in chronological order. They might, though. Another issue is that Halo's story is pretty simple at its core. It's just, you're Master Chief, you're the good guy, and you're the humans, and you're fighting against the bad Covenant, right? I contend that the story, the backstory provided by the terminals isn't really necessary in this game, because the whole Halo universe, remember at this point, when the game was first released, had not been fully fleshed out. And I recall in my playthrough of the Classic Edition that I was kind of moaning and groaning about whoever, studied Halo, whoever made the game and made the dialogue and blah, 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 they don't act realistic, and... Oh, I didn't even see that guy there. Yeah, they don't act realistic. They keep calling Master Chief Sir and all that, blah, blah, what kind of military we're running here. But that being said, I have seen another playthrough of Halo where basically they say that it's very pulpy. And when I thought about that for a minute, I thought, yeah, that's a good way to look at the original story of Halo, in that it's meant to be pulpy. It's campy by design. So it's like a throwback to the pulpy science fiction novels of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? Not every author out there was a astrophysicist or, served in the military, maybe they were in World War II or Korea or Vietnam or whatever, but it's not meant to be super accurate in terms of the jargon and the doctrine and this, that, and the other. as long as you're not taking the story of Halo seriously and looking at it as just pulp science fiction, then it makes more sense. Now that said, I will try to address some of the main points throughout this playthrough, but I won't guarantee that I have something to say for every single terminal. I may just occasionally chime in with certain things regarding that. I should also mention finally that the two primary sources I'm using for this are the Halo Encyclopedia, particularly the second edition, as well as the online website Halopedia. So let's unpack what he said in the terminal cutscene there. I'll define some terms and some things that the character mentioned, but understand that it goes heavily into the lore of the Halo universe and the history of the species and races within it. So he mentioned the Ecumen Council, which is actually the governing body of the Forerunner Empire, also known as the Ecumen itself. He also said the human legacy, the assumed legacy of the humans. What is he talking about? Well, in the Halo universe, there basically were two species long ago known as the Forerunners and ancient humans, also known as ancestors, who were created by a race of beings known as the Precursors millions of years before the events of this game. Now both the Forerunners and the Ancestors developed vast spacefaring empires, and the Precursors chose humanity to assume what is known as the Mantle of Responsibility. Essentially, the Mantle is a stewardship over life and evolution within the Milky Way galaxy. The Milky Way itself was also known as Path Togreth. Now, in sense that the ancestor humans were chosen over them, the Forerunners began a genocidal campaign that drove the Precursors into the region between Path Togreth, that is the Milky Way, and the neighboring galaxy of Path Chthona. The remains of the wiped out Precursors became this dusty powder that was stored aboard starships and drifted throughout the Large Magellanic Cloud for millennia. Unfortunately, the Ancestors discovered these powdered remains, and their discovery of that would eventually cause an outbreak of the Flood, which we will see, of course, later on in the game. Now, the resulting attempt of the Ancestors to stop the spread of the Flood brought them into conflict with the Forerunners, who eventually would win the war, and in doing so, they would basically devolve humans, erase their history, and banish them to the world of Erde Tyrene, in other words, Earth, to start over again. And I'll discuss more about what the Forerunners did to combat the Flood outbreak later on, and humanity's further survival as we get further on into the game. Now, 343 Guilty Spark also mentioned something called a Gaosh, or Gaos. That's also known as a gene song, and essentially it's the collective genetic memories and commands of the ancestor humans, which predate the modern humans we see in this game. It's kind of a genetic imprinting that influences the development of a species, and essentially what we'll see as we move throughout the Halo series is that this Gaosh gives the humans a familiarity with, or at least ability to understand and use Forerunner technology. Now, in the Forerunner culture, only life workers, such as the Librarian, can actually create a Gaosh. So we're continuing on here. Now I'm going to mention the two weapons we're using here. The pistol is the M6D Magnum. This is the M6D personal defense weapon system, part of the M6 pistol series, manufactured by Mizria Armory. It's a standard weapon for pilots, technicians, officers, and non-frontline troops. It's an automatic and semi-automatic, magazine-fed, recoil-operated handgun that fires the M225 12.7 by 44mm semi-armor-piercing, high-explosive round from a 12-round box. The pistol is fitted with a KFA-2 2-power optic system that smart links with the user's HUD. Now, there's no actual optic on the pistol itself, but rather the scope is actually the bulge at the top of the front of the weapon. It's essentially a sensor. And the model shown here in this game is actually a retextured version of the M6G from Halo 3, although it lacks the longer magazine that would actually be on the model. The MA5B assault rifle that we're using right now is part of the individual combat weapon systems manufactured by Mizria Armory. It's a standard service rifle of all branches of the UNSC. The weapon is a select fire, although mostly shown in fully automatic mode. It's a gas-operated, magazine-fed rifle designed to be rugged and reliable in a variety of harsh environments. All variants of this weapon fire the M118 7.62mm by 51mm full metal jacket armor-piercing round. The MA5B is the standard rifle of the Marines and has lower accuracy than other variants. However, its compact size and larger 60-round mag offset this drawback. While accuracy on the weapon suffers on full auto and at long ranges, the weapon is favored for its ability to provide suppressive fire in close quarters, for example during boarding actions like we see right now. While the weapon has no iron sights, it can be integrated with the HUD or fired by eyesight alone. The display panel features an ammo counter of rounds remaining in the current magazine and a digital compass that can be oriented to a specific point, in this case the local gas giant of Threshold. It also mounts an underbarrel flashlight. Alright, let's finish off these guys here, and then we'll hop on a lifeboat. Grenades! I'll talk about the other weapons, of course, and the various species and types of Covenant we encounter in the game as we go through this playthrough.
The damage to the superstructure is extensive. I don't know how much more abuse the Autumn can take. There's one last lifeboat. Quickly, get aboard before it
Alright, we'll
launches.
jump aboard.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
Punch it.
Aye, sir. We're disengaged, going for minimum safe distance.
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir? I don't want to die out here.
Look!
What is that thing, Lieutenant?
Hell if I know. We're landing on it.
I knew it. The Autumn's accelerating. Keys is going in manual.
Heads up, everyone. This is it. We're entering the ring's atmosphere in 5.
Sure you wouldn't rather take a seat?
We'll be fine.
If I still had fingers, they'd be crossed.